Rafa Nadal's retirement ceremony at Roland Garros 2025 was spectacular. They knocked it out of the park, and it was so great to see, especially because the send-off at the end of last year at the Davis Cup was underwhelming. It wasn't particularly bad. They didn't do a whole lot necessarily wrong, but they just didn't do enough. And the closure, I don't think it felt like there was great closure. This makes that all go away. And now I think Rafa and all of his fans will feel like they had a moment to truly celebrate the greatness and the career that was Rafa Nadal in a way that lived up to all that he did for 2 decades. So I just want to kind of jump on here and offer a smattering of thoughts. And I when it comes to something like this, just make sure you've seen it and enjoyed it, because that's going to be the best content you can consume on this, is the actual thing itself. But I do have some things to say. The plaque, the engravement on the side of the court that they unveiled towards the end of the ceremony. I'll put it up on the screen. It's Rafa's footprint, and it's going to be on the court forever. This makes me so happy because it is on point. It is on the money. It is perfect. It is perfect. And it's something that tennis needs to continue to do. You can't overdo it, but we need to celebrate our history. And there are certain things that should be immortalized. Rafa's exploits at this tournament need to be immortalized. The significance of court Philippe Chatrier, like what it means to play on that court, is partially due to the things that not just Rafa, but everybody in the past have achieved on it. You should be able to feel the history and the gravitas of court Philippe Chatrier. And sometimes you actually need to actively support that. And you need to physically represent that. Rafa already had a statue outside of Roland Garros on the grounds. But to me, this goes a step further. This is even better. It's subtle, but every time we watch on a match on court Philippe Chatrier, from now for the rest of time, we will see Nadal's footprint on the court. I don't think there is a better way to honor him. And I think it's so fantastic that the tournament is celebrating the most significant part of its history in such an outward, visible way. It is pure class, and I love it. As far as the ceremony itself, I almost think that this should be done more often, that players should be celebrated the year after they retire, not the year of their retirement after they lost a match, because Nadal being out of competition mode made it so much easier for him to appreciate the moment and find, I think, a bit of extra perspective that he was able to share with us that I found very illuminating. The story he told about the kid in 2004 who was on crutches, who had just pulled out of Roland Garros, who, he didn't say this, but I know it, was just told by a doctor that he might not be able to play tennis again. And he crutched his way up to the top row of court Philippe Chatrier and dreamt not of winning the tournament, but of competing in it. He was able to put himself in those shoes and think back to 2004 because he was out of competition mode. And he was able to find that 100,000-foot view that allowed him to appreciate it that much more. And I thought that was a beautiful story he told and a great way to put everything in perspective, huh? I can't imagine how special it must feel to be in Nadal's shoes in a moment like that. To have your life's work celebrated to that extent, and it all comes together. The people who helped you do it, and the people who lived with you through it all those years, they're all there. The rivals who you competed against, they're there. Your family is there, and nobody's more proud than family. Nothing feels better than to make family proud. That's happening. The crowd was amazing. The videos were amazing. They were digging up past triumphs, Rafa's, great moments on that court, and just to watch Nadal soak it in and live through those moments again, that must have been immensely emotional. And hopefully we all have a moment in our lives where we're appreciated like that. For none of us will it look anything like that, but none of us will deserve it quite as much as Rafa deserves something like that because of the joy and all he gave to the tournament and millions and millions and millions of people for all of those years. So I was just watching it feeling in awe of what a special and emotional moment they created for Nadal, and happy that he got that. In terms of like the actual execution of it, the French, I feel like they know how to build an aesthetic. I mean, they did a great job for the 2024 Olympics with just the visuals, and they did a great job here with the Nadal ceremony, the orange shirts, Rafa spelled out in the upper deck, RG14 on the other. The trophy that they presented was really great. The one thing I thought they misstepped was the music. The one thing that I think they got wrong. I think they nailed everything, but I did not want to hear music as Rafa went around and acknowledged the crowd and did that final lap. I would have really liked to just hear the crowd and not an annoying song. That's the only thing, if I must be a critic for a moment. The images with the big four, Roger, Novak, and Andy, they come out onto court. That's an incredibly special moment. And we've seen it time and time again with Andy's farewell at Wimbledon, with Roger's farewell at Laver Cup. Those guys need to be together in those special moments, or it doesn't feel right. So I'm glad we got to see that again. And Nadal had really nice words in addressing his fellow Big Four rivals. He left the court with his kid. That's how much time has elapsed. Like, that's how long he has been a part of the tournament, how long he's been serving the tournament with class and dignity. You look how young he was when he took the court in 2018 against Richard Gasquet. He is a child. And to put that right next to, 2025, he's got a wife, he's got a kid who looks about, I don't know how old he is. He looks about like 3 years old. He might be old enough to remember this, which is great. And he carries him off the court, like full circle, beautiful moment. Come on now. This was just really, really great. He said one thing in his press conference that caught my attention, and that has to do with a world tour. The idea that he might want to play some exhibitions, that he hasn't really been on a tennis court since retiring, but he might want to do some of that. Roger recently said the same thing. And I want to throw this out into the universe, and I'll end on this. I think if Roger's knee is up for it, and I got to say, ever since Federer retired, and even in the doubles match in the Laver Cup, every time I see him play tennis in retirement, I'm looking at that left knee and I'm going, ooh, yikes. Can't even bend that thing. Like, it has looked really, really bad. And I think even Andy Roddick, who's been in close proximity to it, has even said on his podcast, like, folks, it's bad, that knee. I think if Roger's knee is up for the task, they should do a world tour together. Federer and Nadal. They should do it together. It'd be massive. It'd be great. Regardless, I'm confident that whether they do it together, whether they do it separately, the star power that those two have, even in retirement, is something where they still have a lot more that they can offer the tennis world, even if they're not able to play the highest level tennis. So I want to end on that, just kind of dreaming of a Fedal world tour right now. But regardless, bravo Roland Garros, and merci Rafa. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.